I worked 80-hour weeks for 3 years to build the product that was about to make our company billions. But when the CEO announced the promotion, they called Times someone else's Times name. And when I found out why, I discovered a betrayal so calculated, so deliberate, it destroyed everything I'd built. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy true crime stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. My name is Natalie Chen, and I need to tell you about how I lost everything I'd worked for my entire career. Not because I failed, not because I wasn't good enough, but because someone I trusted decided to destroy me. Let me start from the beginning. 3 years ago, I was hired as a senior product manager at a tech startup called Apex Innovation in Palo Alto. You've probably never heard of them, but trust me, they're about to be massive. Or at least, they were supposed to be. I was 31 years old when I joined. Stanford MBA, 5 years at Google, glowing recommendations. I was hungry, ambitious, ready to prove myself. The CEO, Richard Zhang, hired me personally. He said he saw something special in me, said I had the vision the company needed. "You're going to change everything here, Natalie," he told me during my final interview. "I can feel it." I believed him. Do you know what that feels like? When someone you admire tells you you're going to be great, it's intoxicating. I was ready to give Apex everything I had. And I did. For 3 years. I gave them everything. Apex Innovation had about 60 employees when I joined. Small enough that everyone knew everyone, but growing fast. The product team was just 5 people. Me, senior product manager. Kendall Morrison, product manager. 2 junior PMs. And our boss, David Park, VP of product. David was 45, been in tech for 20 years. Stanford, undergrad. Smart guy. A little cold, but I respected him. Kendall Morrison was interesting. I'm 29 years old, UCLA grad. Been at Apex for 2 years before I arrived. Charming, funny, the kind of person everyone liked immediately. When I started, Kendall was the first person to welcome me. "Natalie, welcome to the team." She hugged me on my first day. "We're going to do amazing things together." She took me to lunch that first week, showed me around Palo Alto, introduced me to people, gave me insider tips about company politics. "David can be tough," she warned me over coffee. "But if you deliver, he'll respect you. Just don't let him intimidate you." I appreciated that. I really did. Kendall and I became friends quickly. We'd grab lunch together, work late together, vent about the stress of startup life. "This place is crazy," she'd say laughing, "but it's our crazy." You know, I knew. Within 6 months, I considered her one of my closest friends at the company. Honestly, I didn't even know what to say when people asked if I trusted her. Of course I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? 8 months after I joined Apex, Richard called an all-hands meeting. "We're pivoting," he announced. "Our current product is fine, but it's not revolutionary. I want something that changes the game, something that makes us a household name." He looked directly at me. "Natalie, I want you to lead this. Build me something incredible." My heart was pounding. This was it. My moment. "I won't let you down," I said. The project was massive. We were building an AI-powered platform for enterprise workflow automation. Think of it like this. Companies waste billions of dollars on inefficient processes. Our platform would use AI to analyze, optimize, and automate everything. It was brilliant. It was ambitious. It was exactly the kind of thing that could make Apex a unicorn company worth over $1 billion. Richard gave me full control. Whatever resources I needed, whatever budget I required. "Just build it," he said. "And build it right." I assembled a team. Engineers, designers, data scientists, and of course, Kendall. "I want you to co-lead on this," I told her. "I can't do this alone." Her eyes lit up. "Really? Natalie, thank you. I won't let you down." We shook hands. Partners. Or so I thought. The next 18 months were brutal. 80-hour weeks. Weekends at the office. At night, I didn't go home at all. I poured everything into this project. Every ounce of energy, every creative idea, every strategic decision. Kendall was right there with me, working just as hard, just as dedicated. We'd order pizza at midnight and brainstorm features. We'd debug code at 3 a.m. and celebrate small victories with cheap champagne. We were building something special. I could feel it. We're going to change the world, Kendall would say, exhausted but smiling. We really are, I'd agree. But here's what I didn't see. Every document I created, Kendall had access to. Every strategy memo I wrote, she could read. Every presentation I built, she could copy. Every idea I had, she could claim. I gave her access because I trusted her, because we were partners, because I was naive enough to believe that trust meant something. Little things started happening around month 12. Small things. Things I brushed off at the time. Like when I presented a feature concept in a team meeting, and David said, "That's interesting, but Kendall pitched something similar last week. Are you two coordinating?" I looked at Kendall, confused. "I haven't pitched this to anyone yet." Kendall smiled apologetically. "Oh, I must have misunderstood your notes. I thought we discussed this." "We didn't." "My bad. Brain fog from too much work." She laughed it off. Everyone laughed with her. I let it go. Or the time Richard mentioned in passing. Kendall told me about the pivot strategy. Smart thinking. "What pivot strategy?" I asked. "The one you two developed. The Asia-Pacific expansion plan. I developed that plan. Alone. At home. Late at night. I hadn't even shared it with Kendall yet." "Oh," Kendall jumped in quickly. "I think Richard means the preliminary notes we discussed. Right, Natalie?" I didn't remember discussing any notes. But maybe I had? I was exhausted, working so much. Maybe I'd forgotten. "Right," I said slowly. "The preliminary notes." These moments kept happening. Small inconsistencies. Small moments where credit blurred. But I was too tired to connect the dots. Too focused on the work to see what was happening. 18 months into the project, we had our breakthrough. The AI model worked. The automation was seamless. The platform was faster, smarter, and more intuitive than anything else on the market. We ran a pilot program with 3 Fortune 500 companies. The results were staggering. One company cut operational costs by 43% in 3 months. Another increased productivity by 60%. The third company asked to invest in Apex immediately. Richard was ecstatic. "This is it," he said in our leadership meeting. "This is what makes us a billion-dollar company. Maybe more." He looked around the table. "I want to acknowledge the incredible work that went into this. Natalie, Kendall, you two are the reason we're here. Thank you." Kendall smiled modestly. "It was a team effort." "It really was," I agreed. But inside, I felt something twist. A team effort, yes. But I'd built 70% of this. The core strategy, the product vision, the feature roadmap that was me. Kendall had been critical, sure. But she'd been support, implementation, execution. I'd been the architect. Didn't that matter? 2 weeks later, Richard called another all-hands meeting. "As you all know, our new platform is about to launch. And with that launch comes significant growth. We're restructuring the leadership team to accommodate that growth." My heart started pounding. This was it. The promotion I'd been working toward for 3 years. "I'm creating a new C-suite position, Chief Product Officer. This person will oversee all product development, report directly to me, and have equity in the company." I couldn't breathe. CPO. That was a career-making position. This was not an easy decision. We had 2 incredible candidates. Both have contributed immensely to our success. I glanced at Kendall. She was sitting 2 seats away, looking nervous. Richard continued. "But ultimately, one person demonstrated the vision, the leadership, and the strategic thinking we need at the executive level. Please say my name. Please say my name. Please. Congratulations to our new Chief Product Officer, Kendall Morrison." The room erupted in applause. I sat there, frozen. Kendall stood up, looking shocked and grateful, accepting hugs and congratulations. Richard was smiling at her. Kendall, you've earned this. The platform you built is going to change everything. Asterisk. The platform you built. Asterisk. Not you and Natalie. Not the team. Asterisk. You. Asterisk. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. Couldn't process what I was hearing. Kendall looked at me across the table. She mouthed, "I'm so sorry." Sorry? Sorry for what? I left the meeting in a daze. Back at my desk, I stared at my computer screen, not seeing anything. Kendall got the promotion. Kendall got my times promotion. The position I'd worked 3 years for. 80-hour weeks, sleepless nights, everything I'd sacrificed. And they gave it to her. My phone buzzed. A text from Kendall. Asterisk, asterisk, Kendall. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Can we talk? I know this must be hard. I didn't expect this either. Asterisk. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, she appeared at my desk. Natalie, hey. Her voice was soft, apologetic. Can we grab coffee? I'm busy. Please. I know you're upset. I'm not upset. I finally looked at her. I'm confused. What just happened? I don't know. I swear, I didn't know Richard was going to announce it like that. I thought we'd both be promoted. Different roles, but both moving up. But we didn't. No. She sat down in the chair next to my desk. Natalie, you have to know you're incredible. This doesn't diminish what you've done. Then why did he choose you? Kendall hesitated. I don't know. Maybe because I've been here longer? Maybe because... Because what? I don't know, Natalie. I really don't. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. I need space, I said. Okay, but we're still friends, right? This doesn't change that. I didn't answer. She left. And I sat there, staring at my screen, trying to understand what had just happened to my life. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying Richard's words. Asterisk. The platform you built. Asterisk. Why would he say that? Why would he give Kendall sole credit? Unless he genuinely believed she'd built it. But how? I led the project. My name was on everything, wasn't it? I got out of bed at 2 a.m. and opened my laptop. I logged into our company's project management system Asana, where we tracked all our work. I pulled up the project timeline for the platform. And that's when I started to notice things, little things, like how several of my tasks had been reassigned to Kendall months ago. Tasks I'd completed, but the system now showed Kendall as the owner. Or how documents I'd created were now showing Kendall as the last editor, not just editor, but Times creator asterisk. Or how meeting notes I'd written were filed under her name. I went deeper. I checked our Google Drive, files I'd created, strategy documents, product specs, feature proposals. All of them showed Kendall as the owner. My name was listed as a contributor, or not listed at all. How was this possible? I created these files. I worked on them for months. But according to the system, Kendall owned them. I stayed up all night going through documents. The more I looked, the worse it got. Somewhere along the way, slowly, methodically, Kendall had transferred ownership of almost everything I'd created. She hadn't deleted my work. That would have been obvious. Instead, she'd copied it, reformatted it slightly, re-uploaded it under her name. And because we were partners, because I'd given her access to everything, no one questioned it. The brilliant strategy for Asia-Pacific expansion, I'd written that in a Google Doc. Kendall had copied it, made minor edits, and presented it to Richard as her own. The feature roadmap that made the platform scalable. My idea. My document. But filed under her name. The AI model's core algorithm. I'd designed the logic. But Kendall had documented it and taken credit. Over 18 months, Kendall Morrison had systematically stolen my work and erased me from the narrative. And I'd been too trusting, too focused on the work itself, to notice. The next morning, I went straight to Kendall's new office, yes. She'd already moved into the CPO office. I didn't knock. I walked right in. We need to talk. She looked up from her computer, startled. Natalie, hi, what's... You stole my work. Her face went pale. What? Don't play dumb. I spent all night going through our files. Every document, every strategy, every idea I created, you copied it and put your name on it. That's not what happened. Then explain it to me. Explain why files I created now show you as the owner. Explain why my meeting notes are filed under your name. Explain why Richard thinks you built the platform. Kendall stood up, her hands raised defensively. Natalie, you're misunderstanding. Am I? Because from where I'm standing, you spent 18 months systematically taking credit for my work so you could get the promotion that should have been mine. We were partners. We worked on everything together. We didn't work on everything together. I created 70% of that platform. You implemented it. There's a difference. That's not fair. What's not fair is you stealing my career. Kendall's expression hardened. I didn't steal anything. I worked just as hard as you did. Maybe harder. And maybe the reason Richard promoted me is because I'm better at the job. Better at the job? Or better at taking credit? Get out of my office. This is my office. That should be my promotion. But it's not. It's mine. And if you can't handle that, maybe you should find somewhere else to work. I stared at her. This person I'd trusted. This person I'd called a friend. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even pretending to be sorry anymore. She'd won. And she knew it. You're not going to get away with this, I said quietly. I already did. She sat back down at her desk. Close the door on your way out. Number going to HR. I went straight to HR. Our head of HR was a woman named Patricia Wells. Mid-50s. Been with the company since the beginning. Patricia, I need to report something serious. She gestured for me to sit. What's going on, Natalie? I told her everything. The stolen work, the transferred file ownership, the credit theft, the systematic erasure of my contributions. I showed her evidence, screenshots, timestamps, document histories. Patricia listened carefully, taking notes. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. This is concerning, she said finally. Concerning? Patricia, she stole 18 months of my work. I understand you're upset, but I need to be clear about something. Proving intent is very difficult. Kendall could argue that you two worked collaboratively, and file ownership was fluid. But I created those documents in a shared workspace, using company resources as part of a team effort. Legally, the company owns the work, and if Kendall contributed at all, even in a supporting role, she could claim co-ownership, so she can just steal my work and there's nothing I can do. I didn't say that. I'm saying we need to investigate this carefully. I'll talk to Kendall. I'll talk to David. I'll review the documentation. But Natalie, you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that this isn't as clear-cut as you think. It's clear-cut to me. I believe you feel that way, but feelings aren't evidence. I left her office feeling worse than when I'd entered. HR spent 2 weeks investigating. They interviewed Kendall. She denied everything. Natalie and I were partners, she told them. We collaborated on everything. If file ownership got confused, it's because we were working so closely together. There was no theft. There was no malice. We were a team. They interviewed David, our former boss. Both Natalie and Kendall contributed significantly to the platform, he said. If I had to say who led the project, I'd say it was collaborative. Kendall had more visibility with Richard, but that doesn't mean Natalie's contributions weren't valuable. Asterisk. More visibility with Richard. Asterisk. What did that mean? They interviewed Richard. Kendall impressed me with her strategic vision and leadership qualities, he said. She was constantly presenting ideas, showing initiative, and demonstrating executive presence. That's why I promoted her. All ideas that were mine. That I'd shared with Kendall. That she'd then presented to Richard as her own. After 2 weeks, Patricia called me back into her office. We've completed our investigation. And we found no evidence of intentional misconduct. While there are some discrepancies in file ownership, we believe this was the result of collaborative work practices rather than malicious intent. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So she gets away with it. Natalie, I know this isn't the outcome you wanted. She stole my work. She stole my promotion. And you're telling me there's nothing you can do? I'm telling you that without clear evidence of theft, there's nothing we can do. Corporate collaboration is messy. Proving who originated which idea is nearly impossible. I have timestamps. I have document histories, which shows that both you and Kendall edited those documents. I'm sorry, Natalie, I truly am. But my hands are tied. I was ready to quit, pack up my desk, walk out, find another job where my work wouldn't be stolen. But then something happened. One of the junior engineers on our team, a guy named Leo Park, came to my desk after hours. Natalie, can I talk to you? Privately? Sure. We went to a conference room. Leo looked nervous. I don't know if I should be telling you this, but I think you deserve to know. Know what? About Kendall and Richard. My stomach dropped. What about them? They're involved, romantically. Have been for like a year. I stared at him. What? I saw them together at a hotel bar in San Francisco about 6 months ago. They were kissing. I wasn't trying to spy or anything. I just happened to be there with friends and saw them. Are you sure? Positive. I didn't say anything because, it's not really my business. But after the promotion thing, I thought you should know. Because it explains a lot, doesn't it? It explained everything. Kendall wasn't just stealing my work. She was sleeping with the CEO. And that's how she got the promotion. It all made sense now. The visibility with Richard that David had mentioned. The private meetings Kendall always had with Richard that I wasn't invited to. The way Richard always seemed to know about Kendall's ideas before they were officially presented. Because she was feeding him my work during their personal time together. She was taking my strategies, my concepts, my vision, and presenting them to Richard in private, probably pillow talk, and making him believe they were hers. And when it came time to promote someone, of course he chose her. She wasn't just his employee. She was his girlfriend. Do you know what that felt like? Like everything I'd worked for meant nothing. Because I couldn't compete with someone who was sleeping with the boss. I could have reported the relationship to HR. Romantic relationships between executives and subordinates are usually against company policy. But I knew how that would play out. They'd investigate. Richard would admit the relationship. Maybe he'd get a slap on the wrist. Kendall might get her promotion reversed. But I still wouldn't get the CPO position. And everyone would know me as the woman who tattled out of spite. No, I needed something better. I needed proof that Kendall had stolen my work. Indisputable proof. And I needed to expose both of them in a way they couldn't deny. I spent the next month quietly building my case. I went through every single email I'd ever sent. Every document I'd ever created. Every message. Every note. Every timestamp. I created a comprehensive timeline showing when I created each idea, when I shared it with Kendall, when Kendall presented it to Richard as her own. I documented everything. I also started tracking Kendall and Richard's movements. I noticed they often left the office at the same time, but separately, in different cars. They were being careful, but not careful enough. I hired a private investigator. Cost me $3,000 I didn't really have, but it was worth it. Within 2 weeks, the investigator had photos. Kendall and Richard enter the same hotel, holding hands in a restaurant in San Jose, where they thought no one from work would see them. Kissing in his car, in a parking garage. I had everything I needed. Apex Innovation's board of directors met once a quarter. The next meeting was in 3 weeks. I reached out to the board chairman, a venture capitalist named Thomas Brennan, and requested a private meeting before the official board meeting. I have information about executive misconduct that the board needs to be aware of. Thomas agreed to meet me. On the day of the meeting, I walked into the conference room with a 50-page document. "Thank you for seeing me," I said. "Of course. What's this about?" It's about how our new CPO obtained her position through fraud and an undisclosed romantic relationship with the CEO. I handed him the document. He read through it slowly. His expression grew darker with each page. When he finished, he looked up at me. This is extensive. It's all true. Every word, every screenshot, every timeline. I can prove that Kendall Morrison systematically took credit for my work over an 18-month period. And I can prove she's been in an undisclosed romantic relationship with Richard Zhang, which influenced his decision to promote her. Does Richard know you're presenting this to the board? No. Does Kendall? No. Thomas leaned back in his chair. You understand what this means, don't you? If we act on this information, it will likely result in both of them being removed from the company. I understand. And you're prepared for the consequences? The blowback? The professional repercussions? I'm prepared to tell the truth. What happens next is up to the board. Thomas nodded slowly. All right. I'll present this to the full board today. We'll need to investigate, but if what you're saying is accurate, this is serious. It's accurate. Then we'll handle it. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, Natalie. I walked out of that meeting feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. The board launched a formal investigation the next day. They brought in an outside law firm to review everything. Within a week, the evidence was irrefutable. Kendall had stolen my work. The document histories, the timestamps, the email trails, it was all there. And the relationship between Kendall and Richard violated company policy. The board held an emergency meeting. 2 days later, they made their decision. Richard Zhang was removed as CEO, effective immediately. The board cited failure to disclose a conflict of interest and compromised decision-making. Kendall Morrison was terminated, not just demoted, fired, for misappropriation of intellectual property and violation of company ethics policies. The news spread through the company like wildfire. I was in my office when it happened. I heard people talking in the hallways, saw the shocked faces, the whispered conversations, and then Thomas Brennan came to my office. Natalie, can we talk? Of course. He sat down. The board wanted me to personally thank you for bringing this to our attention. What Kendall and Richard did was unacceptable. Thank you. We also wanted to discuss your future with the company. My heart started pounding. We'd like to offer you the CPO position, the role that should have been yours from the beginning. I couldn't speak. You earned it, Natalie. You built that platform. You deserve to lead it. I don't know what to say. Say yes. I smiled. Yes. Kendall showed up at my apartment 3 days after she was fired. I opened the door and there she was, looking awful. Dark circles under her eyes. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. How could you? She said. How could I do that? Tell the truth? You destroyed my career. You got me fired. You destroyed your own career when you decided to steal my work. I didn't steal. She stopped herself. We were partners, Natalie. Partners don't stab each other in the back. I worked hard on that platform too. But you didn't create it. I did. And you know it. You stole my ideas, took credit for my work, and slept with the CEO to secure a promotion you didn't deserve. Her eyes filled with tears. I loved him. Richard. I actually loved him. I don't care. He won't even return my calls now. The board fired him because of me. He blames me. Good. You both got what you deserved. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. I made mistakes. I got caught up in the ambition and the competition, and I lost sight of what was right. But did you have to destroy everything? Did you have to take it all away? I looked at her, this person who I'd once considered a friend. Yes, I said simply. I did, because you would have done the same to me. You did do the same to me. What am I supposed to do now? No tech company will hire me. My reputation is destroyed. That's not my problem. We were friends, Natalie. No, we weren't. Friends don't betray each other. And you betrayed me every single day for 18 months. So whatever happens to you now, you earned it. I closed the door in her face. And I didn't feel bad about it. Not even a little bit. It's been 6 months since I became Chief Product Officer. 6 months since Kendall was fired. 6 months since Richard was removed. The platform launched 4 months ago. It's been even more successful than we anticipated. Apex Innovation just closed a Series C funding round at a $1.2 billion valuation. We're officially a unicorn company, and I'm leading the product team that made it happen. Richard started a new company. Something in crypto. I heard it's not going well. Kendall moved to Austin. I saw on LinkedIn that she's working at a much smaller startup, mid-level position, nowhere near the trajectory she was on before. And me? I'm thriving. I have a team of 20 people reporting to me. I'm on the executive leadership team. I have equity that's actually worth something now. Everything I worked for, everything that was stolen from me, I have it back. Better than before. People ask me if I have any regrets. About going to the board. About getting Kendall and Richard fired. About destroying their careers. And my answer is always the same. No, not even a little bit. Because here's what I learned. Being nice doesn't get you promoted. Being competent does. Trusting people doesn't make you smart. It makes you vulnerable. And sometimes, the people who smile at you and call you partner are the same people who will stab you in the back the moment it benefits them. Kendall didn't care about friendship, she cared about winning. And when I finally fought back, when I stopped being nice and started being strategic, I won. That's the reality of corporate America. Especially in tech, especially in Silicon Valley. It's cutthroat, it's competitive, and if you're not willing to fight for what you've earned, someone else will take it. If you're in a similar situation, if someone at work is taking credit for your ideas, stealing your work, undermining you, I want you to know something. Document everything. Every email, every file, every contribution, every idea. Keep records. Keep timestamps. Keep proof. Because when the time comes to fight back, and it will come, you'll need evidence. Don't just trust HR to protect you. They won't. Don't trust your boss to notice. They won't. Don't trust that hard work speaks for itself. It doesn't. You have to advocate for yourself. Loudly, clearly, with evidence. And if someone betrays you the way Kendall betrayed me, don't feel guilty about fighting back. They made their choice. Now you make yours. Where I am now. Today is a Tuesday in March. I'm sitting in my corner office at Apex Innovation, looking out over Palo Alto. My calendar is packed with meetings. My inbox has 247 unread emails. I have 3 product launches in the next 6 months. I'm exhausted, but I'm happy. Because this is what I worked for. This is what I earned. And no one can take it away from me this time. If you're watching this and you've ever had your work stolen, your ideas copied, your achievements claimed by someone else, I see you. I know how it feels. And I want you to know, you can fight back. It won't be easy. It won't be comfortable. But you can do it. You deserve recognition for your work. You deserve the promotions you've earned. You deserve to succeed on your own merit, not have someone else succeed on yours. So document everything. Build your case. And, when the time is right, fight. Because you deserve better than being someone else's stepping stone. You deserve to be the one standing at the top, and you can get there. I did, and you will too. This is Laura Stories. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Comment below where you're watching from. I want to hear your stories about workplace betrayal. Have you ever had someone take credit for your work? Let me know. You are stronger than you think. You are smarter than they believe. And you can win. I'll see you in the next video.